March 9th, 1945, 12:08 a.m., Tokyo, Japan. The night sky hums before it roars. A low thunder spreads across the city, growing heavier by the second. Air raid. Sirens scream and refuse to stop. People freeze in alleys and doorways. Soldiers stare upward from rooftops. The sound does not fade. It multiplies. High above, hundreds of engines beat the air in steady rhythm. Bomb bay doors open. Small dark shapes fall, then thousands more. Fire erupts where they land. Wooden houses crack and ignite. Paper walls vanish in seconds. Wind rushes through narrow streets, feeding the flames. Anti-aircraft guns fire blindly into the dark, tracers reaching but never touching. The bombers remain high and steady. Command posts flood with reports. Phones ring without pause. District after district goes silent. This is not one raid. It does not end. For Japanese commanders, this night delivers a terrifying truth. The war has entered a phase they cannot stop. If you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. By late 1944, Japan faced a crisis it could not reverse. The Pacific War had turned sharply against the empire. Island defenses were collapsing and naval power had been shattered. American planners shifted their focus from beaches to cities. The goal was to break Japan's ability to continue the war. Factories, transportation, and morale became primary targets. To achieve this, the United States introduced a new aircraft, the B-29 Superfortress. It was the largest bomber of the war, powered by 4 engines and built with pressurized crew compartments. It could fly above 30,000 feet and carry more than 20,000 pounds of bombs on shorter missions. Early strategy focused on daylight precision bombing of factories. General Curtis LeMay assumed command as bases in the Mariana Islands placed Japan within range. From Tinian, Saipan, and Guam, missions stretched over 1,500 miles round trip. Weather was unpredictable, and jet stream winds disrupted formations. Cities were densely packed and built largely of wood. LeMay adapted. Precision gave way to destruction. Incendiary bombs replaced high explosives. Night raids replaced daylight attacks. The target was no longer a factory. It was the city itself. The early phase exposed serious problems. B-29 engines overheated. Training accidents were frequent. One report admitted that more aircraft were lost to mechanical fires than enemy action. Early raids launched from China produced poor results. Bombs missed targets by miles as jet stream winds scattered formations. Japanese fighters rarely intercepted, and when they did, the bombers' defensive guns proved effective. Still, missions returned with little to show. Crews doubted the strategy. Japanese commanders mocked the raids, noting how scattered the bombs fell. Radar bombing struggled through clouds and smoke. Losses mounted quietly through engine failures and landing accidents. Each aircraft required enormous labor and resources. Spare parts were limited. Morale dipped on both sides for different reasons. The bomber looked powerful on paper, but it had not yet delivered decisive results. Japanese defenses relied on altitude and weather for protection, not realizing how quickly tactics would change. The breakthrough came when tactics shifted. LeMay ordered weight stripped from the aircraft. Most defensive guns were removed. Bombers flew lower, between 5,000 and 9,000 feet. Speed increased. Fuel efficiency improved. Accuracy rose sharply. Incendiary clusters spread fire across wide areas. Japan's cities burned with frightening speed. Wooden homes ignited within seconds. Fires merged and spread faster than emergency crews could respond. The B-29's strength was not armor, but endurance. Night operations reduced losses. Japanese radar struggled to track low-altitude bombers. Fighter interceptions declined due to fuel shortages. Crews learned routes and timing, navigating by the glow of burning cities. Each raid reinforced the lesson. Altitude was no longer safety. Fire had become the weapon. On March 9th, Operation Meeting House unleashed devastation on Tokyo. 334. B-29s attacked from multiple directions under dry, windy conditions. The first aircraft marked targets. Incendiaries fell in long patterns. Fires merged into a massive firestorm. Winds reached extreme speeds, pulling oxygen into the blaze. People suffocated in shelters, canals filled with bodies. Crews reported little resistance. By morning, more than 15 square miles lay destroyed. An estimated 80,000 to 100,000 people were dead. Japanese command was stunned. Civil defense collapsed. This was not an isolated strike. Nagoya, Osaka, and Kobe followed. In May, over 500 bombers struck Tokyo again. Each raid refined the method. Damage increased while losses fell. Fighters rose when possible, but fuel shortages grounded many. Anti-aircraft fire intensified, but remained ineffective. Smaller cities were hit next. Toyama lost nearly its entire urban area in one night. No city was safe. Earlier encounters hinted at what was coming. In August 1944, B-29s attacked the steelworks at Iwata from China. Japanese defenses responded aggressively. Fighters and flak damaged several bombers, yet most returned. The aircraft proved resilient even in its early form. Later raids over Kure, naval base pushed through heavy flak to strike battleships below. Losses were accepted. Pressure remained constant. By summer 1945, bombing became relentless. B-29s also laid magnetic mines in Japanese ports during Operation Starvation. Hundreds of ships were sunk. Internal transport collapsed. Food shortages spread. Factories stood idle. Sirens became routine. Then on August 6, 1945, a single B-29 flew over Hiroshima. One bomb changed the meaning of air power forever. The industrial scale behind the campaign was immense. Nearly 4,000 B-29s were produced. Thousands of crew members trained across the United States. Each mission required massive fuel reserves and constant maintenance. Airfields on Tinian stretched for miles. Sorties increased every month. By mid-1945, over 1,000 bombers could strike Japan. Japanese aircraft production could not compete. Fuel shortages crippled pilot training. Some pilots flew with fewer than 100 training hours. Radar coverage was incomplete. Unlike Germany, Japan lacked depth. Once air superiority was lost, it never returned. The psychological impact was severe. Civilians slept fully dressed, ready to flee. Children learned to recognize aircraft by sound. Soldiers wrote of helpless anger. One diary noted that the sky belonged to the enemy. Pilots called the B-29 the Silver Ghost. Firefighters feared the wind more than the bombs. Commanders feared the sirens because they signaled loss of control. Morale eroded steadily. The enemy was unseen and unstoppable. Late in the war, the B-29 continued to improve. Radar bombing became more accurate. Navigation systems advanced. Electronic countermeasures reduced losses even further. Crews rotated faster, spreading experience. The bomber expanded its roles to reconnaissance, mining, and atomic delivery. By the end of the war, it faced no equal. The final numbers tell the story. More than 160,000 tons of bombs fell on Japan. Hundreds of cities were damaged or destroyed. Losses remained low compared to results. An aircraft once doubted became decisive. Japanese officer later said, "We could not stop them, could only endure." The B-29 did not just destroy cities. It destroyed the belief that Japan could survive the air war.